10 years ago, I was lying in a hospital bed, peeing through a tube at Upstate Medical Center, being told by a doctor that I may never walk again. Those are hard words to hear. So this is going to be my tale of what happened just before that to get me to that point and what's happened since. And why I call myself Captain Trips. I got what I thought was a cold, just your average cold, and it morphed into really bad headaches. Then slowly, almost imperceptibly, I was losing the ability to move my legs. They wouldn't pick up as much as they used to until finally I was just shuffling along, and I couldn't pee. So we went to the local hospital, which isn't a very big hospital in a small town. And I was really lucky that the ER doctor on staff actually knew what it was that I had. And he knew that he couldn't help me. He told me to go to Upstate to the neurological ward there because they would know what to do for me. The doctor that I first saw at Upstate said that this guy was pretty remarkable because most ER doctors don't know what it is that I had, and they would have misdiagnosed me, but this guy didn't, and that may have helped in my recovery. When I got to Upstate, the first thing they did is give me a lumbar puncture, which I'd always heard was really kind of painful. I could feel them moving around down there and doing whatever they do for a lumbar puncture, but it wasn't painful at all, and that was a little bit nerve-wracking because I couldn't walk very well, I couldn't pee, and now I'm not feeling what they're doing. The doctor that told me that I might never walk again, he told me I had transverse myelitis. Transverse myelitis is an inflammation of both sides of one section of the spinal cord. This neurological disorder often damages the insulating material covering nerve cell fibers. Transverse myelitis interrupts the messages that the spinal cord nerves send throughout the body. That's what the doctor told me I had, and what he told me is the course of action is you get a steroid injection every day for 5 days, and after that 5 days, that's all they can do. You are what you are at the end of those 5 days. Some people go through the 5-day process and it never improves and they just can't walk again, and some people recover. So the part of my spine that was swelling was the very lower part that controls your nerves in the lower part of your body. Upstate Medical Center is a teaching college, and so I became the house patient because I was a medical mystery. No one knew what it was that caused my immune system to attack itself and attack my spine. They found out that it was a virus, but they didn't know what the virus was. And I think there was a lot of frustrated doctors that they never could actually come to a final determination of what it was that I had that started this process happening. While I was there getting the steroid injections, they encouraged me to get up and move around as much as I could. So I got up, and just like running an ultra with an IV tube, I just walked around in circles in the hallway of the neurological ward at Upstate, just around and around and around and around for hours, just because I wanted to make sure that I could continue to move. So the first day that I did it, it was pretty much the same. I could barely move my legs, and it was a slow shuffle. But then the next day, it got just a little bit better. And the third day, it was even better. I had a follow-up with the doctors a week after they sent me home to make sure that I was doing okay, and I was doing fine. I'd actually got on a treadmill and ran a few steps. While I was at the appointment, the doctor took a tuning fork, struck it, and put it on my foot and said, "Tell me when you can't feel the vibrations anymore." Okay, that's it, I can't feel it anymore. Took the tuning fork and put it on the back of my hand, and it was buzzing pretty well. It was pretty strong still. So by doing that, they were able to determine that I was at 80 to 90% of what I was normally. So I am able to walk and I am able to run, but I am never going to be back to what it was before this happened. And this leads to why I call myself Captain Trips when I'm out on the trails, because of all of this that's happened. It's influenced the way I run, and it's influenced the way I fall.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that back.
What happens when I'm running is, once in a while, it happens on both feet, the nerve doesn't fire quickly enough so that when you hit the ground and your foot comes like this, it's supposed to spring back forward so that you can land again. Well, what happens with me is that after I hit and I come up, the foot kind of stays in this position a little longer than it's supposed to. So basically I'm just here looking for something to hit in order to fall, and then at the last possible second, if there isn't a root there, I land normally. But if there happens to be a root there, even if I see it, I trip a lot and don't fall. Any of you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, you will have seen a lot of photos of me with various parts of my skin rubbed away because I've fallen. It's funny because sometimes I'll go running for a little bit longer than Pamela does. She'll run 5 miles and I'll want to go 7 or 8 or whatever. And she'll go to the car and she'll sit in the car and wait for me. And when I come back, there's dirt all over me and there's blood. And she'll go, "Oh, again?" And I'll go, "Yeah, again." A sidebar, there was a gentleman in a town about 40 miles from where I was living at the time that got it. My mom found an article in the newspaper. He had transverse myelitis and he is in a wheelchair the rest of his life. They don't really know why some people respond to the steroids and some people don't. They did say that by keeping myself in shape, taking care of myself, they do think that that was a contributing factor to me recovering, but they can't say that for certain. So I was running on this stretch, my left foot caught that root, and what happened was when I hit it, my momentum carried me to the left, and I fell onto the ground with my elbow between the ground and my ribs, and when I hit, it went right into my ribs, and it bruised them pretty badly. Plus, I landed so hard because it was such an unexpected fall that even though I didn't hit my head on the ground, my head was jarred around so violently that I got a little bit of a concussion.